There was a house by me nicknamed Ghost House because construction was never finished on it for the longest time, and it had been sitting vacant and unfinished for years. It was on an already kind of sketchy block with a lot of houses that appear to be either vacant or the owners of the houses just don't care about their properties because there's a lot of overgrown grass and weeds. My friends Jenny, Luca, Kylie, and I were bored just driving around town late one night. We got some fast food. Then Luca floated the idea of checking out the ghost house. Like, actually checking it out, going inside. The girls were on board, and so of course, so was I too then. We parked a few houses down. This street only had one street light, the rest of it was dark, and a lot of the houses didn't have any lights on. So it really was a dark and kinda creepy block. Like I said, the neighboring houses seemed abandoned too, even though they weren't due to cars being in some of the driveways. We were all sure to be extra quiet getting out of the car and walking over to the ghost house. Seeing this unfinished 2-story house in the dead of night gave off eerie vibes for sure. Next up, we had to figure out a way in. Of course, we tried the front door and it was locked. We then walked around the house trying every window until one of them slid right open. Jenny was the smallest, so she climbed in through the window and then went to unlock the back door for us. Only it was already unlocked, meaning anyone could have just walked right in. We entered the house that smelled like a mix of wood and some kind of rotten cat piss kind of smell. The first floor was a lot more finished than I was expecting, and it was pretty big with lots of rooms, but there was no furniture. We kind of all split up going different ways. I went up the stairs to the second floor, and up here was a bit more unfinished, with a lot of the wall framing exposed. I heard rustling around from downstairs, the sounds of my friends being a bit too loud, so I went shh really loud down the stairs. Upstairs was pretty empty, so I went back down to run into Jenny, who asked what's upstairs. I said it's a bit unfinished up there. She then proceeded to go upstairs and check it out anyway. I proceeded to look for the basement, and I found it beyond a brown door right under the stairs leading upstairs. As soon as I opened it, I got a whiff of that cat piss type smell I was talking about. I started walking down the steps, and as I got to the bottom, I could see the basement looked a little more decrepit than the rest of the house. The concrete floor was stained with some brownish, rusty-looking material. My first instinct was to think paint, but the color could also match blood. I looked around the mostly empty space and found in one corner a small wooden chair and a little table with a book on it. It was the Holy Bible. I heard footsteps coming down the steps. I said in a volume slightly above a whisper, "Yo, come check this out." When I heard no response, I turned around but didn't see anyone by the stairs. I said, "Who's there?" Then I noticed a girl sitting down, leaning on the wall. Only it took me a second to realize it wasn't Jenny or Kylie. It was some random woman with extremely long and messy hair, looking right at me. Then I heard one of the girls upstairs screaming, followed by Luca calling my name saying, "Let's get out of here." The only words I could muster up were "holy shit," and I ran out of the basement and up the stairs. I saw my friends running out through the back door. I had no idea what they had seen, but I was right behind them. We ran back out front towards the car and didn't stop until we were in. I asked them as we started to drive away what they saw, because I saw some deranged-looking woman come down to the basement. Everyone was talking over each other, but one of the girls finally managed to explain that they saw 2 men standing in one of the empty rooms on the first floor. They saw some dark objects on the floor in that room, but they couldn't find out what they were in those brief seconds before running away. They didn't get a look at their faces, but they were men based on their statures. I don't know what the hell was going on in that house, and if we ran into some satanic cult, or if we just ran into some homeless people. You couldn't pay me to ever go back to that house again. I don't live in that town or state anymore, so I don't know what became of that house. But based on the most recent Google Maps picture from 2019, it still wasn't ever finished.